everyone, and happy Friday. This is Tosca Di Matteo, founder of Tosca Coaching and Consulting, reporting to you from the rooftop in Brooklyn. And I've got my puppy here. Hopefully she will stay out of photo. And hopefully you can hear me okay, because I know there's some construction going on. But, it's Friday, it's sunny. I was like, I want to do this outside when the air is flowing, right? Because we're entering into summer, which reminds me that I think I'm going to change things up. I'm not sure if I'm going to do Feisty on Friday over the summer. I might do some fabulous on Fridays over the summer. What do you think about that? Maybe I'll change it up. We'll have a bit of a different tone and come back to Feisty in September. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Anyway, so today I got a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about. The focus, I think, is going to be on overdoing, the epidemic of overdoing. But I have a few other things I want to talk about as well. First of all, before I forget, I want you to know that I'm doing Talk About It Tuesday next week at 9:30 a.m., a little bit earlier than normal, with my husband. And I'm just so excited for you to hear his story of layoff to takeoff, really. I think we titled it From Layoff to Let's Go. But he has such an incredible story about how he was on Wall Street for 15, 20 years, got laid off, took another job, and that wasn't the right job, and then ended up launching his own business right as COVID started, actually. So we're both entrepreneurs. Maybe you didn't know that, but we are. And we both spent 20 years in corporate America. So I'm really excited for you guys to meet him. My beautiful husband, beautiful soul. And I know he wants to share his story because I think he wants other people to kind of, not go through the hard things that he went through. Anyway, other little known fact is that our 11-year anniversary is tomorrow on Juneteenth. And last year, actually, I did a Feisty on Friday about it because our anniversary landed on Friday. And, it was just this, just honoring that was our 10-year anniversary. And that, what a privilege it is to be married. What a privilege it is to be able to show love and not be shamed for it, in the middle of Pride Month, in the middle of everything. And that when you marry somebody that really celebrates you for you, that is the most freeing. And I really connect with the word freedom and feeling free in myself and in my life. So I think the two go well together, Juneteenth and my anniversary. So that's a little bit of the update. But I will jump now into this overdoing. Oh my God, it really showed up in a lot of different ways for me this week. Not just for me personally, but also with some of the work I'm doing with my clients. And also I think it's just a big theme in relation to what's going on in corporate culture, this just escalation of overdoing. And it's very toxic and it's damaging, and it's when are we going to stop this, people? When are we going to realize enough is enough? Because people are burning out, because we're putting unrealistic expectations on people, because as leaders we're not making choices about what's most important. And I think that's a big reason why we end up in this overdoing epidemic that we're in. So yeah, I think that from an organizational perspective, I think when there's so much on the plate, the problem is that people aren't making priorities. They aren't making choices. And, if you are a leader, or if you're not, asking the questions to get at what is most important, and why is one way to help ensure that you're not trying to do more than you possibly can do, because we clearly have our limits. But I think the other piece of that is, and look, as a business owner, right? Like, I found myself this week in that same overdoing rabbit hole. Like, I realized, like, I wasn't taking the time that I needed for me. That I was just so focused on the doing and the doing. But part of being able to be effective, part of being able to be productive and be creative and be innovative is the not doing, the undoing, the overdoing. It is the being still, and taking care of yourself. So even myself, I get in these cycles as well, even though I'm very aware of them, because a lot of times I'm not aware that I'm in it until I'm like way deep in it, and I'm like, why am I freaking out? Like, why am I having a breakdown? Oh, right, because like I've been overdoing like for so long. So I'm not immune, and I never pretend to be. Anyway, so yeah, I think what really just gets me feisty about this topic, not only from corporations just like not being able to like realize what's realistic or not, but that people, that we as individuals, that we don't think that we're enough, that we think that we just have to do and output in order to show our value. And that's just such a masculine patriarchy, like white supremacy concept that is so destructive. And like, we have to be aware of this and how detrimental it is to our health, to our well-being, and to enjoying life, as opposed to just feeling constantly like we're never enough, And I think this is this relates to kind of being in a prove it state of mind. Whether you feel like you constantly have to prove yourself at work, or maybe you feel like you have to prove it in the beginning, and then maybe that never ends. You just feel like or maybe you get a promotion and then you feel like, oh, I have to prove that like I was worthy. No, you didn't. You got the promotion because of what you've done, because of what you showed, because of who you are. It's like, and now you want to sit there and like reprove it? No. Oh my God. Like, what is possible if we get out of this mentality that we have to prove ourselves? It comes from a place of scarcity. It really does. It comes from a place of not enoughness. And it actually goes very deep. Like, if you really get underneath, well, why are you overdoing? Yeah, I guarantee you're going to come back to some very deep-rooted things about how you see your value. And if you really, really want to get to a different place with yourself, doing that work, doing that exploration and excavation is critical. And like, I'm still doing that. I still have this like mentality of like not enough. I think I had 2 therapy appointments this week that came up. Like, it's just nuts. Yeah. So I think it's one of those fundamental things that people struggle with. So you're not alone in like feeling like you have to prove yourself and feeling like you have to overdo and do and do and do. And again, I think this also links to a topic that I talk a lot about, which is boundaries, right? Because we get into the overdoing because we're not willing to hold boundaries for ourselves. We're not willing to say no out of fear, or because we feel like we're supposed to, like we feel like we can't say no. And, let me tell you, the more that we give ourselves permission to say no, the more that we push back, the more we are empowering others to do the same, so we can all stop this cycle, and there is so much power in doing less. Like, when you do less, you actually create openings for doing it better, and you actually then are focused more on the things that actually matter. And I remember, I may have shared this story before, but like, I remember when I was working with a coach when I was in corporate, and she said to me, well, I want you to do like 5% less. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm sitting here telling you I'm overwhelmed and I'm overworked, and you want me to do less? Like, that's not going to solve it, you know? But the truth is that is exactly what is going to solve it. And doing less can mean anything from taking something off of your plate to allowing good to be good enough, to, like not being a perfectionist in what you are doing, you know, all of those things. So it can look a number of different ways when I say like do less. But you know what also happens when we're in this overdoing is we end up being in an energy that doesn't serve us. When we're in that overdoing state, we're in a frenzy, we're in overwhelm. Like, we can easily be in like desperate place, you know, feeling time pressure. We can be very closed off, like emotionally, you know, we can actually struggle with receiving when we're in this overdoing because we're not letting things flow. We're just giving and giving and giving, but we're not letting ourselves receive. So there's a lot of implications here. And to be honest, you know, when I've had some conversations this week, you know, and honestly, they've been with women that are in that overdoing. They just pile it on and they take on more and they take on more, and like, that is not the answer. I can guarantee you that is not the answer. It's not going to get you to the place of real contentment and fulfillment that you want to be. You might think that that's what it's going to be because you think that that's what's going to get you the promotion, which is going to get you the money, which is going to get you the happiness. But I think if you really go in and you poke holes in that whole ladder, it's not it. Like, that's not the ladder, you know? So I think really my tips would be, first of all, boundaries, and maybe test them out with like the low risk things. Test the boundaries of logging off of your computer at 5 instead of 5:30 or whatever it is, you know, the low risk things. Giving yourself time and space and say, you know what, I am going to I'll let you know if I am able to put that on my plate. Let me get back to you, versus just instinctually and initially saying yes to everything because you feel like you have to, right? So just give yourself time and space to say, can I actually do this added thing, or not? You know, I think the other thing is getting really clear on those bigger meta strategies, those bigger meta priorities, whether it's in your life or whether it's at work, to say, okay, like, what is really important here? Actually, like, I literally did that for myself in the past couple months because I realized I was in overdoing in terms of focusing on quantity of output and not quality of output. And, you know, so I got really clear with myself about what was really important. And there's like 2 things on my list. And what I can do is I can come back to that and I can say, you know what, I didn't do all these things, and that's okay because I was true to the priorities that I set for myself. Period. You know, and then you can come back and reassess, you know, in a month from now, are those still your priorities? You know, or maybe you look at it every week. Are these still my priorities? And then you can be kinder to yourself when you decide, or when you realize other things aren't getting done. You can say, that's okay, because I am on point with the bigger picture. I'm on point with the bigger plan, you know? And then you can start to celebrate. I think then you can start to celebrate. You know what? I said fucking no to 10 things this week. Rather than beat yourself up over it, you can say, I am celebrating that I said no to the things that didn't really matter to me, and I said yes to the things that do matter. You know? Because we're living in an age where, and I say this all the time, right? People, companies, they will take and take and take and take as long as you let them. And you are letting them when you say yes to everything, when you don't hold your boundaries, when you don't realize what's not serving you anymore. You are letting them take. And it is up to you to retrain people how to treat you. It is up to you to hold the boundary. And I think there's a lot of fear around what the consequences are to those boundaries, but those fears, the likeliness of those fears coming to fruition are probably low. I'm just going to make that blanket statement, because I think the fear can end up going to, I'm going to get fired if I don't say yes to this. And you know what? The likeliness of that is probably extremely, extremely low. And if I take it a next line further, maybe that would actually serve you if you did get let go. Let me just put that out there, because if you're in overdoing and your company is going to retaliate when you hold your boundaries and say, like, I physically can't do this, then maybe it's not the right place. You know what I mean? So I just, I think I just get sad. I get sad when I know I'm doing it to myself and when I see other people doing it to themselves, because they're also not looking at it from a perspective of, what is this costing me? And look, I understand. I love to feel good about output. I love to feel good about the quality of the work I do. It's really important to me, but if I put that same standard, right, for everything that I'm doing, that would be just insanity. And there have been times in my career where that was exactly the case, that perfectionist, mindset. And it held me back, because I was able to do less, because I was over investing in the things that weren't really serving me. It wasn't serving the company. And so maybe we do have to ask ourselves, you look at your to-do list and you can say, where is good enough? And maybe it's, where do I want to put in the little extra, because either it matters, or because it's really important to me, or because whatever, and put that list together. And you know what, you can take it another step further and say, and put timestamps on things. So if you are working on a project, maybe you would spend, 10 hours on something, maybe try to spend 8, see what's possible. When you put constraints on yourself, you'll be surprised about what you can get done. So let's just say you say, I set aside an hour to work on this project today. Why don't you actually set a timer for 45 minutes? And maybe you can actually get it done in 45 minutes and not an hour. And then that's where you can start to do less. You can start to carve out. And maybe in those 15 minutes that you found, you're going outside, you're getting some fresh air, and you're getting rejuvenated, so that you can reset and move on to the next thing in a clear space with more energy. So yeah, I feel like I could talk about this for a long time, because I think the epidemic is that we are made to feel like we are not enough, that in order to be valued, we have to do and overdo, and it's a fucking lie. It is a lie. And if you are around people that make you feel that way, then you are not around the right people, or you need to retrain them, or you need to show them there is another way. This is the change, I think, that would be monumental. So anyway, people, I hope you enjoyed this Feisty on Friday. Happy Juneteenth. Happy anniversary to my husband and I tomorrow. I'm considering doing Fabulous on Fridays for summer. You let me know what you think about that, if that sounds exciting. I'm going to take a break from Talk About It Tuesdays in the summer, and I think what I'm going to do is some reruns of my favorite episodes for those that may have missed it, or the ones early on. So because basically what I'm trying to do for the summer is undo the overdoing, to really focus on what it is I really need to be doing to build this business so that it can be sustainable, and be aware of what you guys want and need. And hopefully this summer you guys are going to be off of social media a bit more and spending more time in the sunshine, right? Yeah. Let me show you what's going on. For those of you who are still watching, I'm going to show you what's going on. Look at this. This is what's going on for me. This is how I'm undoing the overdoing. Yeah, there's my puppy Sienna. This is Brooklyn. Let's see, it's pretty windy here today, but it's hot. It's a hot one. Yeah, this is my view. I don't get to work up here because the internet doesn't really do me any good, but when I can, I try and change it up and come up here. So anyway, it's been a blast. Happy Friday. Have an awesome freaking weekend. And you know what I'm really excited about? I'm really excited about Monday is the summer solstice, the 21st. It is, I think it's the 21st is the longest day of the year. For some reason, I love the idea of the most sunshine, the longest day of the year, and I want to take full advantage. So anyway, and then the last thing I'll say is, if you haven't seen, I'm running a workshop actually on Tuesday the 22nd at 3 p.m. with Elevate. The link is in my bio, and it's about influencing company culture. I talked a little bit about that today, right? And I'm going to go deep into giving people tools for how you can be the change that you want to see, no matter what your title is. I don't care if you manage others or not. Everybody has the power to influence company culture. So check that out. Sign up. It's only $10 with Elevate. But if you are watching this and you want a code to come for free, just DM me. I'll hook you up. All right. Ciao for now. And again, for those of you who don't know me so well, visit me at toscadimateo.com to learn more. Have a great weekend. Bye.